Welcome back again to another video. This one, of course, is pertaining to research and your research in particular. So I'm going to start off to tell you exactly what the intentions are, and then we will delve into it and then recap at the end. When you are developing a research document that has quite a bit of length to it, particularly if it is a thesis or a dissertation or something close there too, you're going to have length to it that you will want to be able to add a table of content for your readers to be able to find certain areas. Writing your table of contents and putting the dots in, the number at the end manually, is the most time-consuming way to do it. Mainly because if I come back and I have been told that I need to add more content to my introduction, spell out some things a little bit more, then suddenly my page number still starts at 5. However, everything after it has shifted downward. Now, there's a high likelihood that this will happen more than one time. So therefore, the answer that, well, it changed by 3, so I'll just add 3 to all of these, is not the best answer. Additionally, as you may notice here, 7 and 8 here do not line up. And 10 looks kind of odd as well. It looks like the 8 is about in the center of it, and the 7 and the 0 of 10 line up, and the 12 goes out a little bit. This is because Microsoft does have some issues with the dots going in and the length of your title of that section or that subsection within your document. Then suddenly those dots get thrown off. It looks kind of ragged on the edge here. However, what I want to do is to show you an automated way of putting your table of contents in. Automated in the sense that it will automatically update the page number locations. And a good side component to it is that it does line these up perfectly somehow. And so this is just an example of one that was done manually to give you an idea of where we're going. We will do next is to go in to a blank document, at least when it comes to the page for table of contents. The way in which an automated table of contents recognizes a section versus a subsection versus the regular content of the document is by the specific heading. Heading 1 is always going to be a main section, such as Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. Those sections are going to be heading 1. However, the issue with this is that heading 1 is automatically 16 points. That font is too large for APA7. Then a subsection would be heading 2. An example of a subsection would be, for instance, you have a section called Introduction. Everything in your introduction, such as background significance, is a subsection, which should be also indented. Literature review, or review of literature, has subsections within it, such as conceptual framework, theoretical framework, so forth. Those are also going to be heading 2. Lastly, there are some, not in all documents, but depending on the length, depending on the kind of content, that will have a heading 3. However, since heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3 already have specific sizes and colors and font type, we have to create our own style for the APA document. So from this point, we will go to a blank page. Let's transition from this onto the next. Here we are with our new document. The title page is somewhat completed. And as we can see down below page 2, we have different areas that need to be identified. They need to be identified within the table of contents. So let's first go to inserting the table of contents right here. A table of contents refers to a page based on the title it will give you referring to. Therefore, Microsoft has decided to call it references. So you click on references, and then you go to the left side over here where it says table of contents. Click on the arrow, and you can select a different style of the table of contents. There's a formal one, which is the one we will use today for this example. And it tells me I've just inserted a table of contents, but there's nothing there. When it says there's nothing there, that means there are no specific sections or subsections that are identified that can be recognized to be a part of the table of contents. Therefore, we need to come here and create a style. Over to the side, it says Style Panels. Click on that, and it gives us a panel. So we want to name these something that you'll recognize. So we're going to say New Style. So in my new style, I want to name this APA1, meaning heading 1. That's for me. I want to be able to recall, okay, that's my main section. You may want to call it main, and then call the call a section, and call the number 2 the subsection, number 3 the subsection. Whatever your preference. It will still function the same way. It has to be based on heading 1 though. This is based on normal. So I'm going to say I want to base on heading 1. If the style is based on heading 1, that means that it will detect heading 1 in the table of contents, and automatically, based on heading 1, it's going to make it blue. Well, I don't want it to be blue, I want it to be black. And in APA7, there is more than one font that is possible to use. However, in this video, we will select Times New Roman. So I'm done with that. I've told it black, size 12, Times New Roman, based on heading 1. That really didn't do anything because I haven't gone and actually applied it anyplace. Now I want to add yet another style and call this one APA-2. And I want to base this on heading 2. And I want to make it black, size 12, and I want to make it Times New Roman, regular, and then OK. As you can see up here, APA1 and up here APA2 are now new parts to my settings. And now I can hit the X over here and close the panel. Let's scroll down into the document. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this writing and change it to Times New Roman 12. Because my regular content, that's what I want it to be. Now, introduction. Introduction should be APA1. And in some cases, you can make it bold. And then this gets into how Gardner defines motivation. So I'm going to just go ahead and insert something here and call it motivation defined. And I'm going to call this one APA2. Notice the size didn't change. I did have a change of distance though, which is something you can change in your panel when you create your style. And then we have motivational beliefs. Let's add that just for the sake of fun. And we will call this APA2. And then we have self-determination theory, which would be 2. Since this is the literature review, introduction is our only part that's going to be number 1. This will be a 2. I will now add one more component, which will be for a heading 1, for the sake of demonstrating how it works. So I'm going to insert a page break. And we're just going to call this references, because it is also its own section, and it should be an APA1. Now, if I go back to the top, let me close my panel to the right, and I go here, and I right-click, it says Update Table, or Update Fields. And this is the result I get. I now have my major sections and my subsections all showing up. The specific page numbers are showing up. Now, be cautious about your table of contents. You do want to make sure that the font type of your table of contents matches the rest of your document. However, I'm not going to cover that in this video, because the objective of this video was just to show you how to have an automated table of contents. So we have completed that, and I hope that you do find it very useful.